All right, so we're gonna get started tonight laying on your backs. So you can lay however's comfortable for you. The legs can be out long, the knees can be bent, just whatever way you naturally fall. Just let yourself arrive here. Relax your forehead, relax the cheeks, the jaw. Feeling the full weight of your head against the mat. Start to tune into your breath. Letting the inhales and exhales come naturally. Noticing the quality of your breath in this moment. Where the breath is traveling to. How deep or how shallow. How quick or how slow. And then start to add some conscious awareness to the breath. So consciously inhaling deeper into the belly, letting it travel up the torso into the head. And as you exhale, letting the breath fall from the head and the heart, the ribs and the belly. And breathe like this a few more rounds on your own. Feeling yourself fill up from bottom to top and empty from top to bottom. Feeling how the body presses into the mat a bit more with your inhales and releases a bit on your exhales. Let's take one more full breath together. Inhale really big, filling up completely. And exhale to release through the mouth. Maybe sigh it out. Let it go. On your next inhale, you can hug your knees in toward the chest. And just rock a few times side to side. And starting to massage the lower back. Maybe rocking your head side to side, massaging the back of the skull. And then keep your right knee hugged into the chest as you extend your left leg long on the mat, letting it rest. And just take a few circles with your right knee. You can go in both directions, doesn't matter which way you start with. Just circling the knee, getting that, or feeling the ball and socket joint in the hip. Feeling the leg moving around in the hip socket. Noticing any little kinks or creaks. And switching directions if you haven't already. Move with your breath here. You can gently guide your knee back to center and just bring the sole of your foot to face up toward the ceiling and start to pull your knee toward your armpit. So coming into your half happy baby posture. You can grab whatever's available. You can even just grab the back of your thigh, the back of the knee, the ankle, or the foot. Wherever you're grabbing, just feeling the top of your thigh reaching closer to the floor and the sole of your foot pointing straight up toward the ceiling. Yeah. Just feeling into the inside of the right hip here. Then gently release the leg and you can extend it long on your mat. Feel the difference in the hips. And then on your next inhale, you can hug your left knee in toward the chest. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So just taking a few circles with the hip, going in one direction, and switching when you feel ready. Noticing if this side feels a lot different than the other side. Maybe just the same. Just paying close attention to the joint, to that ball and socket rotating in circles. Maybe closing the eyes and seeing that joint. Trying to wake up the hips. Once you feel even on both sides, you can guide your knee back to center and flex your left foot, bring that up to face the ceiling, and then start to bring your knee towards your armpit more. Perfect. So it doesn't really matter where you're holding on the leg, but just trying to get the sole of your foot to be parallel to the ceiling. You might feel a deeper stretch in the inside of the left hip. Yeah. And again, grabbing whatever's available, the foot, the ankle, the thigh, whatever's there. Breathing into the left hip. And another breath here. As you're ready, you can gently release the leg and bring that down to the mat alongside your right leg. Maybe shake them out, maybe rock the feet side to side or the hips. Then you can hug the knees back into the chest, but this time grab the backs of the thighs and start to rock yourself along the length of your spine. You can start slow and then let the movement gradually get bigger until you feel the momentum where you can bring yourself into a tabletop. So maybe coming up, crossing the ankles, and coming onto your hands and knees. Yeah. Just landing with your shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Spreading the fingers really wide, wrist creases are parallel to the front edge of the mat. And when you look back, the toes are hidden behind the thighs. And just take a few cat-cows here to start. You can start right away moving with your own breath. Inhaling to your cow pose, exhaling to your cat pose. And paying attention to where the movement is originating from. Or maybe leading with the hips, maybe letting the movement start with tucking the tailbone down and then lifting the tailbone up. Or maybe it starts from the heart center. Maybe you lift the back of the heart to your cat pose and then let the heart sink down in your cow pose. Just playing around with where your attention's focused, just in your simple cat-cows. And then you can find your way back to a neutral tabletop when you're ready. And we'll just take a few side body stretches, wagging the tail. So you can look back toward your right hip, bringing your right hip closer to the shoulder, and then taking that to the other side. Moving with the breath, keeping the bottom of the ribs knitted in, so the belly isn't falling too much toward the floor. Nice. And now when you're ready, we'll start to twist the spine. So you can find your way back to center, and then put a bend in your left elbow as you look over the right shoulder. Maybe the elbow comes to the floor, and then coming back up to center and going to the other side. So putting a bend in your right elbow, looking over left shoulder, and just doing that a few times. Moving with the breath, maybe exhaling to twist. Not super important which movement is with an inhale or exhale. And just play around. Trust whatever your body naturally wants to do. And then starting to find your way back to center when you feel even. And just take a few circles with your neck, just getting some kinks out of the neck. Big circles, going one direction a few times. And then switching directions when you're ready. Guiding the head back to center when you feel even. And then we'll come into some thread the needle. So on your next inhale, you can raise your left arm out to the side and up, heart opening to the left. And then exhale to your thread the needle, bringing the left shoulder and left ear to the ground. Options with your right hand to push into the ground with the right hand, maybe looking closer toward the ceiling, or maybe walking the right fingertips forward, getting long in the right side of the body, or maybe bringing your right hand back behind you. Taking a few more big breaths here. Letting the belly relax, the face relax. And you can start to bring your right hand back to the ground in front of your face if it's left. And then just push into that hand, bringing the left arm all the way back out and up. And then exhale, release to tabletop. Noticing the difference before we do that on the other side. So when you're ready, you can inhale, right arm out to the side and up. And exhale to thread the needle. So right shoulder, right ear coming to the ground now. And same options with the left hand. So you can push into this hand, getting a little bit deeper stretch, or walk it forward to the front of your mat, getting that nice length in the left side of the body. Feeling this nice little twist in the belly, this nice stretch in the shoulders. And a few more big breaths. And you can start to bring the left hand back to the ground in front of your face. Slowly push into that hand, bringing the right arm all the way back out and up, unwinding. And then exhale, release into tabletop. So from your tabletop, just walk the hands forward slightly and melt the heart down into your heart melting pose, your puppy pose. Just getting this even stretch in the shoulders. Letting the shoulder blades actively draw closer together with your exhales, and letting the front of your heart surrender a bit more on the exhales. Now from here, just let your hips become really heavy and drag yourself back into your child's pose. Centering here for 2 breaths. And then root into the hands, activating your child's pose, and draw yourself up to your tabletop. Inhale, drop the belly down, lift the gaze up, cow pose. And exhale, sink the hips on the heels into child's pose. So we'll flow from child's pose to cow pose about 3 or 4 times. You can move with your breath, coming up on your inhales and surrendering down on your exhales, moving at your own pace. Maybe it feels best to move quickly through this, or maybe it feels best to move extra slow. Whatever feels best is perfect. And then the next time you come up to your cow pose, tuck your toes under, and this time lift the sit bones back and up to your downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet a few times. You can adjust your stance to however you need to be comfortable, bending the knees as much as you need to today. But same thing as always, just letting the focus be on lifting your sit bones as high as possible. And getting the shoulders in the right position, you can bend your elbows out to the sides, hug them in, hugging the triceps in, and then straightening out the elbows. Yeah, so feeling that broadness across the shoulder blades. Feeling yourself pushing into the floor. You're pushing into the floor, but you're also energetically drawing energy up through the floor. So just feeling all of that energy consolidating to your sit bones. Maybe stretching out the soles of the feet. You can bring the heels up over the balls of the feet. Just really feeling every toe against the mat. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat, and just slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands. Taking your time. When you arrive, inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale to a forward fold. Hang out here for a few breaths. Just letting the knees be bent quite generously, letting the head rock yes and no, side to side. Releasing the head, the face, getting any little wiggles out of you. But same thing as in down dog, letting the energy focus on the hips lifting higher, even when the knees are bent. Letting out big exhales. Noticing where the weight is in the feet. Let's inhale to a halfway lift. So the hands can come to the shins. And just really feel this tabletop shape in the spine. So feel your sit bones lifting up and back. So maybe it feels like a slight arch in your low back. Feel your belly be active. So come up a little bit more, Mom. Yeah, and then feel the heart proud. So the shoulder blades are drawing slightly together down the back. Heart's reaching toward the floor. Like, yeah. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly start to rise all the way up to stand. Bring your arms out and up at the top. And exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Pausing for a moment here, just checking in with yourself. Feeling the heartbeat, feeling the breath. And on your next inhale, raise both arms up. And exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands and step back to your plank. The knees can always be down here if you need that. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows slowly alongside the ribs, lowering yourself in one piece down to your belly. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra. The neck is long. And exhale, release. Inhale, push yourself up through your tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift the hips, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Next inhale, bend the knees, look up and step up. Coming up to a halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale as you sink the hips down and lift the arms up, chair pose. You should be able to see your toes. Perfect. The inner thighs squeezing toward each other but not touching. Tailbone tucking down. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands down, step back to a plank. Move through your version of a vinyasa flow, and we'll meet in a down dog. As you're ready, you can bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Now as you inhale, sink your hips down, lift the arms up, chair pose. And then exhale to your mountain pose. Hands can come by your side. Inhale, sink the hips down, lift the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine, half lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step back to plank. Move through a flow if you would like to, and we'll meet in a down dog. So as always, the vinyasa flows are optional. And if you have a flow that works better for you than one I've suggested, then you can go ahead and do that. And there's always the option to skip the flows altogether. Always the option to come into any pose at all throughout the practice. You just need to take a break, listen to your body. On your next inhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat in between the hands and pivot your left foot to warrior one legs. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. So your left toes are facing the front left corner of the mat. Feet are like in train tracks, and if there were headlights on your hips, they're facing directly in front of you. Inner thighs pulling in toward each other. The front knee is over the front ankle. And arms can really be wherever they're comfortable. If you want some more length in the spine, you can reach them up while tucking the tailbone down, getting that length there. It can be at heart center, it can be on your hips, really wherever they want to be. Then next exhale, open yourself up to your warrior two. So the hips are coming parallel to the left edge of your mat. The foot is coming parallel to the back edge of the mat, maybe slightly turned in if that feels better. And same thing with the front leg. The front knee is over the front ankle, but feeling like it's reaching toward the pinky side of the foot with that hip kind of tucking under. Arms are really proud, reaching from the heart center. Gaze can be soft or the eyes can be closed. Inhale here. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Lift your back heel and step back to a plank. Move through a flow and we'll meet in a down dog. Just letting it go. Maybe fluttering the lips. Maybe letting a sigh out. And as you're ready, on your next inhale, you can step your left foot to the top of your mat and pivot your right foot to warrior one legs. Inhale, rise up, warrior one on the other side. The same thing over here. Four corners of both feet firm on the ground, hips are square to the front. Inner thighs pulling in toward each other as the feet feel like they're dragging away. Tailbone tucks down. Feeling the length or feeling the space between the bottom of the ribs and the hips separating a little more if the arms are lifted. Then letting the shoulders relax, letting the face relax. Inhale here. And exhale, open yourself up to warrior two on the other side. You can adjust your stance as you need to. Back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Front knee reaching toward the pinky side of the front foot. Arms reaching from the heart center, feeling the chest and heart really proud. Maybe lifting the toes to really feel the feet rooting down, even the outside edge of your back foot. And adjusting your stance. Maybe if you don't feel the four corners of the feet, you can make your stance a little shorter. Tailbone still reaching down, crown of the head still reaching up. Inhale here. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down, framing the front foot. Lift your back heel, step back to a plank, and move through a flow if you'd like. We'll meet in a down dog. On your next inhale, bend the knees, look up and step up, coming into a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Move through one more flow on each side, and then we'll do quick balancing postures before we make our way into the yin portion of the class. When you feel ready, you can inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. At the hands, step back to plank. Move through a vinyasa flow if you want to, and we'll meet in a down dog. Now from here, you can inhale, step your right foot forward and rise up to your warrior one once again. Inhale here. And exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhaling here. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down now to the inside of your right foot as you lift your back heel, coming into a lizard pose. So both hands are perfect. So you're letting your hips sink forward and down. You can keep your back leg lifted or let the knee come down. We won't be here for too long. We're just getting back into the hip. And you'll notice this is the same pose that we did to start the class, just changing gravity. You can lift your back knee if that was down on the ground, step back to a plank, move through a flow if you'd like, and we'll meet in a down dog. As you're ready, inhale, step your left leg forward. And we'll rise up to warrior one once again. Inhaling here. And exhale to open up warrior two. Inhaling here. And exhale to cartwheel the hands down inside of your left foot, lifting the back heel, coming into lizard pose on this side. So you can keep that back knee lifted or let it drop down, whatever feels best. Again, we won't be here for too long. Breathing into the left hip, into the right hip flexor, the front of the thigh. And then stepping your left foot back into a plank, moving through one final flow, and we'll meet in a down dog. From here, you can bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Just pausing for a moment, checking in with yourself. And we'll do some balancing postures now. So we'll start with our tree pose. So you can come into your mountain pose, feeling really firm and steady on both feet. You can find a focal point here now, a drishti, place where you can just stare and feel that stillness. And then start to shift more weight into the left side of your body. And then bring your right foot into kickstand. The right heel comes to the left ankle. And keep the right knee pulling back behind you, so feeling the hips really opening up here. You can even put your hands there to feel it. And this can be your tree pose. You can stay here, you can bring your hands to heart center, you can grow your tree, whatever feels best. Or if you'd like to come a little further, you can bring it up to the calf, but feeling all the same elements of the pose. So still keeping that knee pulling back, the hips opening up, still finding your focal point, still feeling strong in the left side of the body. And if this is good for you here, you can bring it up to the inside of your left thigh, keeping all the components the same. You're going to keep your standing leg pushing into your balancing foot, the same amount that your balancing foot is pushing into your standing leg. So feeling all the energy consolidating to the center line of the body, moving straight up from the sole of the left foot, through the leg, the spine, and the crown of the head. You really want to challenge your balance, you can always close the eyes. So you can gently start to release your foot and see if you can just bring your knee to center. It's okay if you just stay wherever you're feeling wobbly, because if you're balancing and you're feeling wobbly, you're growing your balancing abilities, strengthening those muscles. So from here, start to sit back like you're coming into chair pose and cross your right leg over your left. And you might just stay here, you might even bring the toes to the ground for extra support, or maybe you can wrap your foot around your left calf into eagle legs. And as you do this, you wrap your right arm underneath your left into eagle arms. So you can, again, keep your toes on the ground for balance, just to feel this. Let me do it this way. But it's just like what we were doing in chair pose, is sitting the hips down. And same thing what we were doing in tree pose, consolidating all the energy to the center of your body. Really squeezing the thighs and the arms into each other. And then slowly as you can release the arms, shake out the standing leg, and we'll do that on the other side. When you're ready, you can shift more weight into the right side of the body, finding the focal point, bringing the left foot into kickstand. And again, maybe staying here. Just focusing on all the little parts of this, pulling that knee back toward the back of the room, opening up that hip. So you want your hips to stay square to the front, but you're just feeling this openness in the left hip. Yeah. And still drawing the energy up. And then you can bring the sole of the foot to the calf, if that's available, but making sure you're keeping the balance, keeping the knee pulling back, or bringing it up to the inner thigh. Wherever you are, just staying with your breath, staying with your drishti, with your focal point. Feeling all the energy consolidating to the center line of your body. Keeping the pelvic floor active. Squeezing the glutes. And then slowly, you can start to release your foot from your leg, bringing the knee to the front. You can bring it down for a break if you need to, but if you want to try to challenge, you can try to keep the foot lifted the whole time. And then we'll come into eagle pose on this side. So you can slowly start to sit down as you cross your left leg over your right. And again, you can leave it lifted. You can put the toes on the ground for a kickstand, or you can wrap the foot around the calf. And then with the arms, it's whatever leg's on top, that arm will be on bottom. So your left arm will be underneath, and then you can wrap the arms around each other, squeezing them all together. Maybe bringing the elbows up a little bit more, squeezing the belly, perfect. Squeezing the inner thighs, squeezing the arms, awesome. Few more breaths. And then gently start to unwind, come back to your feet. Roll out the ankle, maybe shake out the leg. And then you can find your way back to the top of your mat if you've left that area. And as you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Lift the hands and step right back to a down dog just for a moment. Slowly bend the knees, let them find the mat. Untuck the toes and sit the hips on the heels into child's pose. So if you'd like to focus more on your spine, you can bring your toes together and knees together. Or if you'd like the focus to be more on the hips, you can bring your toes together and your knees as wide as your mat. You can have the arms stretched out in front of you. You can stack them underneath the forehead if you want some more height, or bring them back behind you if you want to be passive in the shoulders. With each exhale, just letting go of one more thing. Relaxing the jaw, the tongue. Relaxing the shoulders and the belly. And then from here, you can extend your left arm out in front if it's not there already. And then thread your right arm underneath your left, coming into this thread the needle child's pose variation. And you can keep this, the left arm's reaching forward, or you can bring it back behind your back, maybe reaching toward the right side of the body. That feels good. Seeing what else you can relax. And slowly starting to unwind the arms. When you're ready, you can come back to center. And then let's thread the needle on the other side. So you can bring the left arm underneath the right. And same options here. You can keep the arm where it is or bring it back behind your back. And then slowly starting to unwind. You can reach both arms long in front of you. Activating your child's pose to bring yourself up to your tabletop as slowly as you need to, whenever you're ready, no rush. And from here, you're going to cross or bring your right knee behind your left knee. So you're crossing, does that make sense? Yeah, so you're crossing your right thigh behind your left thigh. And then bring your feet out to the sides as much as they do, fanning them out. Yeah. And then slowly start to walk your hands back toward your knees. You're going to come to a seat here. Coming right into your shoelace pose. Yeah. Kind of a funky way to get into it. So you can stay seated upright. The goal here is just to have your knees stacked on top of each other, and your feet can be close to your hips if that feels better. Or if you want to intensify this, you would bring your feet more out to 90-degree angles with the knees. And then if this feels horrible on your bottom leg, you can straighten the bottom leg, and you get a bonus stretch in the hamstring. So whatever variation of this you're in, just find the breath. You can stay seated upright for as long as that feels okay. And then when you start to loosen up, you can slowly start to walk your hands forward, coming into a folding position here. Timer. And you might be feeling this in some unusual places. You might get some weird sensations here. Or maybe you're not feeling this too deeply at all. In which case, you just come a little bit deeper, see if you can fold a little bit more, and getting to that point of slight discomfort, or maybe more intense discomfort, depending on your hips today. Leaning into it, breathing into it. Let's take 5 more really deep breaths here. Relaxing the jaw, the forehead, the shoulders, the belly. Very slowly, you can start to walk your hands back toward the hips. And then step your hands in front and see if you can just bring yourself back up into your tabletop from here. Yeah. And then just uncross the knees. Single. And maybe just let your hips fall to either side here, just in your tabletop. Just loosening them up, evening them out. Yeah, maybe taking circles with the hips. And then when you're ready, we'll do that on the other side. So you can leave your right knee where it is, and this time step your left knee behind it, flaring the feet out to the sides just a bit. And then walking the hands back, slowly lowering your sit bones to the mat. And shoelace on the other side. And same variations as the other side. First, just noticing how it feels on this side compared to the last. And then slowly starting to come into your full expression of the pose in your own time. And seeing what else you can relax, noticing what is tense, softening all the muscles in the face, the jaw, in the forehead, in the shoulders, in the belly. Let's take about 5 more really full exhales here. And slowly starting to walk the hands back toward your seat. And this time to come out, you just bring your hands back behind you for some support and slowly just untangle the legs in front of you. And you can scoot yourself to the center of your mat if you're not there. And maybe shake out the legs, tap out the legs or the hips. And then when you feel ready, you can bend the knees, grab the backs of your thighs, and slowly lower yourself to lay on your back. As you arrive, you can bring the soles of your feet as wide as your mat and just take a few windshield wipers side to side. Massaging the glutes, releasing the low back. And you can start to bring your knees back to center. No rush though. If you want to keep doing this, you're welcome to. And the knees are back to center. Just go ahead and shift your hips to the left side of your mat as you let both of your knees fall to the right. Coming into a reclined twist. You can reach your left arm long and stare out over those fingertips to continue the twist up the neck as well. And just feeling that space you're creating from the outside of your left knee, through the side body, and through the shoulder. And feel yourself surrendering in this pose. Allow yourself to surrender here. Allow the weight of your body to be supported by the mat. Not feeling the need to be rigid in this pose. Just letting yourself melt into this. Feeling this bringing out of the spine, massaging and stimulating of the digestive organs. And then as you're ready, you can gently guide your head back to center and the knees back to center. Shifting your hips back to center. Feeling yourself aligned. And then bringing your hips off to the right side of your mat as the knees fall off to the left. Extend the right fingertips and stare out over your right hand, twisting up the neck as well. Feeling the space from the outside of the right knee through the right side body and the right shoulder. Just letting go of any sensations of holding throughout the body. Releasing any tension in the left arm, the left shoulder, hand. Releasing any tension in the belly, in the legs or the hips. Letting your jaw hang heavy and letting the forehead soften and expand. And when you're ready, gently guiding your head back to center, your knees back to center, and the hips. And you can hug the knees in toward the chest, rocking a few times side to side. And reaching your legs up toward the ceiling, releasing the muscles in the legs and just letting them rest in the hip sockets. Reaching the arms up, doing the same. Allowing the four corners of your torso to be pinned against the mat. Finding stillness here. If your limbs are wading in water, letting the limbs become a little detached from the body. Allowing them to grow a bit warm, a bit tingly with the change in blood flow. Feeling all the organs in the belly settling back into place. Hips evening out, the shoulders evening out. Everything coming back into equilibrium. Whenever you feel ready, you can come into your happy baby. Grabbing whatever's available, just opening up your hips toward the ceiling. Grab the feet, the ankles, the thighs. And maybe rocking side to side, or maybe just finding stillness. Whenever you feel ready, come let the soles of your feet find each other and slowly lower outside edges of your feet to find the mat. Into your reclined bound angle pose, reclined butterfly. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. At any point you feel ready and would like to come into your final Shavasana, you may do so. Letting the legs reach long on your mat. Letting the feet fall where they naturally fall. Letting the eyeballs sink down and back into the skull. Gazing into the forehead. Feeling it soften and expand even more. Feeling the jaw hang heavy. Letting the throat relax. Tuning into your own heartbeat, the rhythm of your own heart. Listening closely. And then feel and allow your heartbeat to expand throughout your entire body. Feeling the love and light radiating from your heart center. And with each beat, letting it expand to encompass more and more of your body. Allowing yourself to rest. Allowing yourself to heal. If you would like to stay longer in your Shavasana, please do so. Just turn off the video or pause the video. Continue to rest. If you're feeling ready to come out of this, just allow my voice to guide you. So starting by noticing the breath, noticing just how slow it's become. Then begin to call air back into the body. Filling yourself up with energy, a little bit more each inhale. Beginning to find small movements in the fingers, in the toes, hands and feet, ankles and wrists. Reach the arms overhead for a nice morning stretch. That feels good. And then bringing your knees into center and coming into a fetal position on one side. Pausing for a moment here. And then gently, with the eyes closed for now, bring yourself up to your seat. And we'll meet with our hands at heart center when you arrive. First, thanking yourself for your practice today and every day, for your dedication on this path. May this continue to heal you throughout the rest of your evening into a wonderful night's sleep. May you bring some of this love and light and peace to everyone you cross paths with. Namaste.